Hey, how's everybody doing? Happy Monday. I think I'm going to start calling it Monday. Boy, I got some sun over the weekend. I tell you what. Whew! It's a good weekend. I completely unplugged. Even was kind of like having sketchy cell service. Like, when I say I really unplugged, I unplugged. And it was absolutely amazing to just be present and be with my boys. Like, we had the best weekend in a long time. It was much needed for sure. But anyway, I wanted to do a quick energy check-in. Let's see what's going on in the collective. I'm seeing a lot of the narcissistic timeline collapsing. So this is good. This is giving me a lot of hope. I'm seeing a lot of people waking up to a lot that's going on. And, you know, I had a major aha moment. You know, parents have a funny way of screwing their kids up. And I really shouldn't say that because that sounds awful. But, you know, we tend to repeat and become what we grew up seeing. So with my boys, I've always been very aware of generational curses and seeing history repeat within the lineage, you know, our family lineage. And you know, luckily for my boys, I was aware enough to see, okay, well, I experienced XYZ, so I don't ever want them to experience that. So I'm going to change this. And in talking to Jacob, he did share with me one of his biggest fears is screwing up. And I get it because Jacob is my empath. He feels everybody. He feels them. And when you can feel people's intentions and you have not learned how to master being an empath, you become the intentions that is projected onto you. So, you know, I understand where he's at. And I knew part of my healing journey was to heal both sides of me. And the irony of that is seeing both sides of me and both of my children. You know, Luke is my gift of knowing things before they happen. You know, that's the hardest gift to explain to people because everybody thinks that you're crazy. Like, how do you just know what's getting ready to happen? And, you know, this time last year, I had a dream that my sister-in-law was going to get pregnant or was pregnant. And after the third dream, I finally told her, I've been dreaming that you're going to get pregnant. And I didn't want to say anything, you know, because what if I'm wrong? You know what I mean? But it's also learning to trust when the information's coming and being confident enough and knowing that God gave you a gift. And I always said I meant to share my gift with the world. So, needless to say, she's due any time now. So, you know, Luke had to see that. He had to see me say those things in order to find confidence and trust within himself to be able to trust what God's saying, to be able to trust the messages that are coming. And it made me realize that, you know, my disconnect with Jacob, because he's my empath, I hadn't fully mastered the awareness of what it's like to be an empath. And it finally hit me last week. And this is where, you know, things get tricky when you have an empath and a narcissist that has children. How do you healthy navigate this? How do you teach them to love the other side of themselves when the other side doesn't want them to? You know what I mean? And I don't even know that this is something that they're consciously aware of. Maybe they are. I don't know. But and sitting back and just watching things unfold, I don't know that they're really aware of what they're doing, right? So last week, stepmom walks up to my parents and is bragging, and this is at a ball game in front of God and everybody, is bragging about her schedule going back to what it originally was, and then proceeding to brag and be like, hey, I got a promotion, look at me. And that's just the way it looked. And of course my mom's looking at her like, why are you telling us this? Like, strange, right? So she can't stand me at all, which is fine. Whatever. I really don't care. Okay? So then she proceeds to tell my mother, well, Luke wants to go eat with you guys. So I'll get their stuff and then they can go with you. And my mom was like, we ain't got no plans to go eat. And then she looked at me, she goes, Brooke? And I grinned real big and I said, well, I told Luke if he wanted to go eat, I'd take him anywhere he wanted to go. And immediately in that moment, and I was happy, I was vibing high. Like, I don't want anything that you've got. I don't care that you got a promotion, good for you, whatever. That's not hurting my feelings. That's not making me look bad. Because in the end, if you think about like the Mean Girls thing, that's basically what it was. Like, look at me, I'm better than your daughter. So, immediately I felt, and it was instantly rage. And I was like, I wasn't mad. I wasn't even upset. And why all of a sudden do I feel rage? And it hit me. I'm not feeling my rage. I'm feeling her rage. Because she wanted me to think that my kids were going to go with my parents and I couldn't see them. And it instantly blew up in her face. And I'm sitting there going, why are you even acting like that? Like, I don't understand it. I don't want your life. I flipped it. Got the t-shirt. Got the badges of, or should I say scars, that have healed from it. I do not want it. So that instantly took me to Jacob. You know, Jacob is the one that I need to mentor and help guide through being an empath. how do you do that? You speak truth of who you are. You speak truth of what you've experienced. You speak truth of how you overcome the challenges. And being able to see this through my children and see this through what's happening in the collective, that timeline, that program is going away. That program is not where we're going, We're going to love. We're going to peace. We're going to harmony. We're going to faith. We're going to love. I know where we're going. I've seen where we're going. And I'm meant to guide my children in that direction. At the same token, I'm meant to rise up and be the queen of love that I've always been. My children picked us because I was strong enough to win the battle. I was strong enough to heal myself. And it's no coincidence that a year before Jacob got sick with Crohn's disease, I was having the same things on my body. So God is always showing me through how I feel and what's happening on my body with what's coming with my children. That's how I know we're directly connected. And how do you teach your kids about Reiki and in trusting in the things that you can't see? And I really hadn't even, it's 12:12. I hadn't even looked at my cards. So you're very close to achieving your goal. And this is a blue-green. So this is, to me, if you take the green and the blue, and you blend them together, you're kind of like in the higher heart at this point, right? So really staying in that grounded, loving heart space, no matter what shade people's throwing, and trust me, I am getting it too. At the same token, I am having to stand up and be fierce. And really, when things like that happen, and there was another event this weekend. So when things like that happen, God is showing me what's truly happening behind those closed doors. He's showing me. So I know that it's still going on because I see it playing out in her behavior. I know it's still happening. He is still living some of those narcissistic tendencies. And the more I see it play out, the more I have to just stand and hold that fucking light. Like, I have to hold that light. I have to shine love and hope and harmony and peace and communicate with my kids. So then we get a new start is coming. This is purple. We're definitely moving up into our higher chakras. Being able to see the bigger picture and the bigger perspective. And this is the thing. I've told my kids, why do you have to pick one or the other? Why can't they let you love me? Why is it one person has to be the bad guy? And being able to see the big picture is because, they're coming from an ego standpoint. That ego is, I have to win. And nobody ever talks about the wives that live through war. Nobody ever talks about the shit that they endure. And maybe this is something that, women need to be speaking up about, because this is where this is coming from. The war never goes away. It never goes away. Obviously, I'm seeing it, There's going to be a lot of changes moving into the new moon in Cancer, because, and we've got a new moon coming up, right? 1551 on my clock. So I've got new moon in the present moment, and I got new moon in Cancer coming up. So there's going to be a lot of changes. We're going to see a lot more shit coming down. And as we see these things, we can't feed it fear. We have to be fearless. We have to shine a light on it and bring awareness to it. You and your loved ones are safe. And it's not so much of what it's being said on the card. To me, my feeling when I see this new moon in Cancer, stepping into that queen essence, stepping into that empress essence, and being able to take all this shade, opposition that's being thrown your way and rise above it. Coming from a place of love and nurturing. For me, all I care about is my kids. That's it. I don't care what they think. I don't care. And I'm talking about my ex. I don't care. I don't care. They can think, they can hate, they can make their own ideas up of who they think I am. They can project that on me. That doesn't define me. That's not who I am. And there's always two sides to every coin. That's their side. And then there's my side. So, again, the narcissistic timeline, it is going away. Funny thing enough, you see this, I am scorched on my divine masculine side. And I'm like, well, kind of funny, right? I'm only burned on one side. So that is burning away, that timeline. And, we tend to, really say men are more the narcissists, but in reality, it's not just men. There's women out there that are too, but usually they're living in toxic masculinity energy. So when I say masculine, it's really more the energy, because we have both of those in us. And when you connect to that empress energy of divine love and divine harmony and divine peace, the queen of the zodiac, because really the king and the queen, because they said at the top of the chart, is going to be Leo and Cancer. So really embodying and living and being. And years ago, the projections that I've lived through with them, I wasn't proud of that. When you hear that voice, and it's usually one specific person or two or three specific people that you've encountered, their voice of, you are nobody. You would never be anybody. You were nobody when I met you, and you're never going to be anybody. You only had this because of me. That is abuse. And empaths have to, this is the biggest lesson that empaths can overcome, is learning how to recognize it, learning how to feel it, acknowledge it for what it is, and to let it go and say, this is not my energy, and you are no longer welcome to project that onto me. You are no longer welcome to push your beliefs onto me. You are no longer welcome to force your burdens onto me, because I am not carrying yours. And that was a big aha moment for me, and being able to recognize, to be able to recognize it instantly in the moment. I could see it, I could feel it, and to push it away, and to still have the best time with my children. You know, kids know a good soul when one is present. Kids know. Also, animals know. My girlfriend Nancy, she's got a sticker on her Jeep that says, if my dogs don't like you, I don't like you. And most people recognize those animal instincts, and that is the empath coming out in them. So, and children are so in tune to that, right? And I see what's happening to their little girls, and it breaks my heart, because one of them walked up to me at the ball game, gave me a hug. Every time she sees me, she lights up. And it is precious, because she's an innocent bystander in this toxic dynamic, and I see it, and it breaks my heart. And she walks up to me and says, after she gives me a hug, "You've been mean to my mommy." Okay. I've been mean to your mommy because I love my children. I've been mean to your mommy because I didn't let her boss me around and tell me what I'm going to do to my kids. Okay. I've not been mean to her. I've had to put a boundary up and say, those are my kids. You're not mom. I'm mom. Mom makes decisions. Mom is there. Mom is present. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm actually moving closer. So, it hurts my heart to see people living so unaware of how toxic they really are, especially when they have kids. Like, that's abuse. And if they're saying that to their own, what are they saying to mine? You know, God doesn't put on you any more than you can carry and any more that you can handle. And this has probably been one of the biggest tests of my life. And for many years, I was so ashamed of my failed marriage. I was so ashamed of myself. I had self-body issues from my rape, and having someone know your biggest wound and having them use that to tear you down even more, like, it fucks you up. So in seeing children be done that way, it's not okay. And it literally breaks my heart. She's 5. She shouldn't even know anything is going on between us at all. You know, I can go back to when Jacob was diagnosed with Crohn's. And the things that they put that child through. You know, here he is going through a scary thing. It breaks my heart, because that's something that is going to take a long time to heal. But luckily, they have me. Yay! guys, I'm sharing this because my intentions are to give you hope that I was put in that situation to be front and center to help guide the collective and what's fallen away. And it is. But the thing is, us empaths, us queens, us kings that are empaths have to master being able to recognize somebody else's energy and sending it away. Being able to recognize those projections and sending it away. That's not your burden to carry. And you're not selfish for doing so. So, I'm excited about being closer. I'm excited about being able to really help Jacob understand the empath. Like, I had to fully heal that before I could lead him through it. And, you know, maybe that's why they picked me. I don't know. But they picked me to be their mom. They picked the situation. They picked him. And as long as I'm asking God to guide each step of the way, I know I'm doing exactly what I'm meant to be doing. You know, we have to bring it home to the children. We have to bring it home to be able to recognize our own toxic coping mechanisms that we develop when we go through traumatic events. We have to be able to recognize the generational curses that happen. If you were one of those, you know, born into domestic abuse lineage, born into, you know, toxic, mean parents lineage, you know, the only way to change that direction, and because those that's going to be creating our new earth is our children. And with each generation we get wiser. We learn to recognize toxic behavior. We have been under that spell. We have been under that spell. And you can see it in the planets. It's still happening. You know, check out Project Veritas. In the collective, it's still happening. It's all connected to that narcissistic timeline. And it's falling. It's falling. Where we're going, hate, resentment, anger, none of those lower vibrations are going with us. And it's falling. I see it. It gives me hope. It gives me peace. It gives me faith. Because it's taken a little bit longer than what we hoped. But everything's all in His divine timing. Everything's always in God's divine timing. So find peace in knowing that. Because a new start is coming. And this is going to be our new earth. We just have to let the dominoes fall. And that's okay. It's okay. All right. I love you guys. Y'all have a great Monday. Why not? You know? Why not? Everybody's so serious all the time. Why not? Like, tap into that childlike playfulness. Unions are coming. He's the phone call to his parents. He's the Bible by the bed. He's the t-shirt that I'm wearing. He's the song stuck in my head. It's coming. Keep holding the light. Keep living in your truth. Keep seeing things from a higher perspective. Allow the purge to happen. With Pluto retrograde right now, people are purging. And literally, I'm seeing it. Like they can't control themselves. It's kind of insanity. Stay grounded. Get your feet in the dirt. Hands in the dirt. Whatever. Okay? He's good all the time. He's one of the good ones. And he's all mine. All right. Love you guys.